Hello and welcome to our channel. We collect and study reports based on true stories from around the world dealing with strange and peculiar events. To protect the identity of the individuals involved, names and some minor facts have been altered to tell the story. This is case file number 149, location, Japan. Category, ghost sickness.
He called me and asked if I would go out to the ocean with him so that he can spread the ashes of his ex-wife who died last month from a long illness. But how did he even get her ashes when he's been divorced for 6 years now? It was almost winter, and going to the ocean in the cold weather to spread his ex-wife's ashes did not interest me at all. I've been dating my boyfriend, Yohai, for 5 years now, and he's 15 years older than me. He was already divorced from his wife when I met him through my friends, and I fell in love with him right away. He had 2 sons with his ex-wife, and she always found reasons to ask him to visit her home to help her with this and that. And Yohei could never say no to her because he wanted to make sure his kids were looked after well. She never stopped asking Yohei for money, and she knew very well that he had a good-paying job, and the money was never for herself. She needed $5,000 here, $10,000 there, to help with kids' school expenses, or to renovate their home, or to take a family vacation. She even asked for money to donate to charities, and it would be another $1,000 here and $2,000 there. Yohai just kept giving her money, saying it's for his kids, not for her. But one day, he decided to tell her that he couldn't keep supporting her like this anymore. He has a great job, but he is not a millionaire. I tried not to get involved with their business. I'm not married to Yohei, although I'd like to be his wife one day. He has his kids with her, and they had a long marriage, and she sure was needy, but she was not a mean person. I've met her many times, and she always treated me well. She used to tell me that she was genuinely happy that I was with Yohai, because she wanted Yohai to be happy. But her smiling face and overly polite gestures made me feel uneasy at times. Sometime last year, she became very ill, and it didn't take long after that, and that brings us back to the beginning of this story. Yohei called me to go to the ocean with him, to spread her ashes because that was her favorite place to go. I refused. I told him I won't go near his apartment until he got rid of those ashes. 1 month went by, and he still had those ashes in his room. About 2 weeks after that, I felt a lump at the back of my neck. It wasn't painful, but it just felt very odd. I went to see a doctor who told me not to worry about it. He said it was a benign, abnormal bone growth. I was not convinced. It just didn't feel right. I went to 2 other doctors for second and third opinions. They all said there was no need to worry. I refused to believe any of them. I finally went to a large university hospital and found a doctor who was willing to help me go through a variety of tests to identify the cause of this strange lump. And I was finally properly diagnosed with a rare disease that was discovered early enough to treat it, but had I left it alone, it may have taken my life. I was hospitalized for 2 weeks and received the treatment that I needed. I was happy to go home and return to my normal life. To celebrate my recovery, my cousin Emma asked me to join her for lunch with her friend. My cousin Emma has a special skill. She is able to see ghosts or spirits and even talk to them. At least that is what she says. But she complained that she did not want to see ghosts all the time, and she is able to turn her power on or off at her will, just like a flashlight switch. She normally likes to keep her power turned off so she doesn't see or hear any ghosts. It didn't surprise me that her friend that came to our lunch was someone with a similar skill. I'll call her Lulu, but that's not her real name. Lulu actually worked as a psychic medium, and that was her full-time job. When Lulu sat down at our table, she took a long look at me and then turned to my cousin and whispered, "Are you sure your cousin is all right?" My cousin stared at me for a few seconds, and then I saw a panic in her face. I heard her say, "Oh, I can't believe I didn't see this." Then I heard her say, "You do see what I am seeing, right? Do you need my help with this one?" And my cousin Emma replied, "No, but thank you. I can handle this one myself. I should turn my power on sometimes when I'm with my family members." Then her friend Lulu said, It's a lot harder to receive a psychic message about your own family members. It's so much easier to do this work with strangers. I think part of the reason is that when you tap into psychic messages about your family, some of that information may be about yourself. And nobody wants to live in fear of finding out about their own fate, especially if it's a bad one. Who would want to get a psychic message or a premonition about their own death or accident? If it's meant to happen, then you can't do anything about it. So I'd rather not know. I believe there is a block that is put in place by God knows who, so psychic people like us don't tap into psychic information about our own life or our close family members. And that's why you probably missed this one. After our lunch, my cousin Emma came over to my house. She said there was an angry ghost that was attached to the back of my neck. It was a ghost of Yohai's ex-wife. But why would she be attached to me? I never had a fight with Yohai's ex-wife, who was always kind and polite to me. She was that way with everybody. I do not really know what my cousin did, but she did her rituals using her crystals and her beads bracelet and told me the ghost was no longer attached to me. She explained that while Yohei's ex-wife may have acted like a kind and pleasant person in front of others, but she was truly unhappy, always finding reasons after reasons to call on Yohei for help when she didn't really need the help. She was just desperate to keep him in her life. She may have told me that she was happy to see me and Yohai together, but that was far from the truth. She probably didn't know what she really wanted in her life, or how to be happy with herself. She spent her entire life lying to herself and to everybody else. I asked my cousin, "What did you do with the ghost of Yohei's wife? Where did she go now?" My cousin said, "I created a space for her. It's like a detention room in the spirit world. She cannot leave that space until she is ready to move on. She must remain there to reflect on what she has done and come to understand the truth about herself. It may take a long time before she is able to leave." My cousin said, "I will have to, from time to time, check on her. It will be a long time before she will be ready, but eventually, I want to help her find her way back to heaven." I don't understand too much about afterlife and ghosts, and my cousin Emma didn't really use the word heaven. She tried to explain that what I call heaven is just a place where spirits return to, and it's neither heaven or hell. And I do not remember anything she said after that. Yohai finally went to the sea by himself and let go of his ex-wife's ashes. Looking back, I can only remember Yohai's ex-wife as someone who always smiled and spoke kindly to me. I really can't remember her in any other way, and that's the way it will remain.
This concludes our story. Case file number 149, closed. Thank you for watching.